I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
If Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
The Joker will be rated R, and we are going to talk about how important that is to comic book movies and a potential revolution.
A revolution. I don't even know what the rest of the words are to that song. Recently, we found out that The Joker will be rated R, so they actually stuck to their guns on this one, and they didn't do a Venom where they decided to switch the shit later on, and then say, we never said it was going to be rated R. Warner Brothers has stuck to their guns, and Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix with The Joker is going to be rated R. And we have some descriptions of why it's rated R. For mild sex and nudity, severe violence and gore, severe profanity, moderate alcohol, drugs, and smoking, and then severe, frightening, and intense scenes. You had me at mild sex.
Down, boy!
That's typically what I have, mild sex. at best. Finally, the most anticipated, I think, for us marks since probably Logan in terms of a rated R and the most intriguing type of film. We've had other films, as Matt had mentioned with Venom, that had the potential to be something even greater had they pushed the envelope to the rated R, and yet they decided to reel it back a little bit for more of a broad audience. So some exciting stuff. Awesome to see that Todd Phillips is going to stick to his guns, and we're going to push this as rated R.
And what does rated R really mean for a movie? I'll let James Mangold explain that.
But my biggest attraction to an adult rating on the film and getting the studio to agree to it from the beginning was a little more complicated than that. When a film is rated R or adult rated around the world, it means that the studio is not going to market the film to children any longer. No Happy Meals, no tie-ins with toy companies, and the obvious recommendation that this is a film not for young kids. Well, what does that change for the filmmaker? It's a really interesting question. What it changes is suddenly no one's reading the script on the studio level or the marketing level and going, that scene between Charles and Logan in the tank is 6.5 minutes long. That's too long. No kid is going to sit through that. Or no one's going, can Logan have a funny little robot friend or a funny little critter or someone that could be living with him in the desert that we could keep the kids excited by watching? Or I think it's a little much talking about these themes of death and drug addiction and hopelessness and a sick dad with a degenerative brain disease is a little much for kids. My point I'm making is that the rating, when a film is rated for adults, it means that the film can be filled with adult ideas. Not just graphic stuff, but actually the ideas of the film are allowed to be more sophisticated because you're no longer having to pace up the movie, edit it faster, make it more charming or colorful for a 9-year-old's attention span. The film becomes what I'd hoped for, and I think what very much Hugh Jackman was hoping for, which was a comic book film for adults.
I'd like to thank Shadow Vessel on Twitter, and I believe he's also the same name in YouTube. He kind of brought that to my attention recently, that commentary from Logan by James Mangold, how he approached a rated R movie and how much freedom it gave him for Logan. You know, I have this discussion with guys at work all the time about Logan, and it teeters back and forth for me a lot of the times, possibly being one of the best comic book movies of all time for me. And to see how he had that creative freedom and what he chose to do with that creative freedom, having a rated R comic book movie. And then you see Joker. You have Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, and you see the trailer that we got for it. And then you hear some of the rumors going on about the Joker. Eric Davis put this tweet out saying the hashtag Joker movie possibly playing in Venice Film Festival makes sense in terms of what I've been hearing about the film, and that we may be looking at a potential awards contender here. Joaquin Phoenix has been nominated for 3 Oscars, but he's never won one. Is this his year? Talking about this movie in that kind of light, could this actually be a legit comic book movie to get an award, unlike Suicide Squad and Black Panther?
The important thing to keep in mind is the approach a lot of times with a rated R film is not to blow the box office out of the water. Typically, studios will reel it in and make it a PG-13 movie in order to maximize the most out of the box office. You look at some films, The Passion of the Christ domestically is the highest grossing R-rated film of all time. Just behind that is Deadpool. And they don't cross the $1 billion mark. They do well, and they can do well. Logan's domestic gross was $226 million, just to kind of give you an idea of ultimately this is more about the creative freedom for the director and the chance for everyone involved, whether it's the actors, Joaquin Phoenix in this case, Todd Phillips, the director. It is a chance for them to really just be able to let loose and really present a film that they would want to show, that has led them to take on a project such as this. And a lot of times, you hear directors, we've talked about it before, directors who they have an idea of something and then the studio interferes and then all of a sudden the movie goes sideways. It's nice to see a film such as The Joker, given that R rating, to really show that they are going to take the risks and present a different type of comic book movie aside from what we've been getting in recent years.
Hugh was very focused also on making a film that had a more naturalistic vibe. We both in our discussions talked about movies like The Wrestler, Little Miss Sunshine, Paper Moon, a lot of 70s films, a lot of films which very much contradicted the kind of hyper-edited sonic blast that has come to define, in the new millennium, the tentpole movie. We wanted to make something more paced, a little more modest, smaller in scale.
The battle against mediocrity is out there, and as we have stated several times, and even at the beginning of this video, you saw the quote about mediocrity. As consumers, we need to show that we do want something different. And if The Joker truly is this great movie, something that would be worth an Oscar nomination, this is the moment where we need to back it. We need to show these studios that a unique movie like The Joker, yes, it is an established property with the name Joker. I get that. It's nothing too original. It's not completely groundbreaking, but if they take a movie like The Joker and make it so serious, make it a movie about a guy's struggle in the world, and that one bad day just causes him to snap. Logan was a fantastically well-paced movie. This, I'm hoping for the same thing. And we get mild sex in it.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Fortunately, not for me.
And I'm curious what the severe, frightening, and intense scenes are. Again, is that torture? What does that mean? This is where we are. This shows the studios that consumers can enjoy R-rated movies. I remember back in our day, the 90s and 80s, movies would push to get rated R because those were the most successful movies at the time. You needed to have an R rating to be taken serious with your movie. But as the 2000s came and gone, and then even farther along, it became about maximizing profits, PG-13, as we've talked about in our mediocrity winning video. PG-13 movies, they always ride that line of, oh, it looks like it's almost serious, but it's not. Very few people can actually pull off an intense and believable PG-13 movie. Now, this being rated R, this is what really pushes it. This is what we get to see as consumers. So hopefully, in some sense, this is kind of a renaissance. We can twist the narrative a little bit. The family-friendly type movies that are out there, those will always be out there. I just never understand why we can't have both. Why can't we have the Shazam and then Joker? Why is that not possible? Why do all the movies have to feel exactly the same? Why do we have to go 20 movies into Marvel just to get one that's slightly different than the other? You have so many individuals now that are so reliant on the MCU and only look at the MCU as cinematic gold. Even when Quentin Tarantino asked for people not to give away spoilers to the Cannes Film Festival, about his movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you have reactions like one guy saying, "Hey, Tarantino, you're not the MCU. Settle down." Another one, "This is an endgame. No one cares about these spoilers." The disconnect in cinema is real, and we need a revolution. We need something to change, especially in comic book movies. Again, this is what we need to strive for as consumers. I think this could be the true game changer that we really need. Logan was up there, but it kind of got forgotten. Joker is different. It's a bigger property. And I think this is the moment we need to show these studios this type of movie can be successful.
Exactly. And they can intertwine these types of movies within the same universe. They don't necessarily have to do these individual one-offs like the Joker is supposed to be. They can maybe try having directors actually take their approach to a very specific movie. We've seen some of the TV shows like Daredevil. We've seen the DC Universe. Why can't we see some of those types of TV shows turned into a movie on the big screen? Can you imagine The Killing Joke as a Batman/Joker movie? That would be phenomenal. You have to do that rated R. You have to push it a little bit further. You have to give the directors the creative freedom to do what they see fit. Don't hold them back based on a rating. If they produce a movie and it ends up with a PG-13 rating, great. But don't reel them in just to try to get that rating. Don't chop up your movie to have it fit a certain runtime or have scenes that are shorter because of the attention span of your audience. Let the director make the film that they want to make and then have the rating lay as it will.
Exactly. Hopefully the future is low budget, it's serious movies, and we can have that mix. It'll always be there. If we can get the best of both worlds, that's what's going to make me happy, and hopefully won't kill this genre that we both truly enjoy so much. In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.